everyone, welcome back to Cooking with Countryside. My name is Melissa and today we're going to be making zucchini stackers. So what you're going to need for this from the market, so you're going to need an onion, zucchini, kale, and we're using dinosaur kale for this, and garlic dill cheese curds. And if those don't sound delicious on your own, you could just eat them straight, but they're gonna taste really good. We're gonna melt them and it's gonna be just fabulous. And then also you'll need olive oil and then optional salt and pepper to add. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna heat a little bit of oil on the stove top, and then we're gonna add half a cup of onion and a few leaves of kale, probably like 8 leaves of kale, just because it's gonna cook down a lot. So I'm gonna go ahead and just chop this up pretty small, but actually roughly chopped. So once it wilts down, it's gonna get smaller anyway, so we don't need to worry about making it too small. I'm gonna compost the ends just because the stem is a little bit harder and we don't want that necessarily in our bite. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this all on the stovetop, cook it down, wilt the kale, and make the onions translucent. So while our kale and onions are cooking down, we're going to prep our zucchini. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna cut the ends off, and then we're just gonna slice the zucchini into discs. You could also do strips, kind of like lasagna, if you wanted the filling to go the long ways, but I think the discs makes a nice bite-sized sandwich, because eventually what we're going to be doing is we're going to be cooking these, and then the top is going to have the cheese and the kale and the onion, and then we're going to put another one on top, so it is going to make kind of like a little sandwich. But while you're doing all this, you're going to want to preheat your oven to 400 degrees. And I know that in the summer, sometimes the last thing that you want to do is turn on your oven. So you could alternatively cook these on the stovetop in a frying pan. The goal basically is going to be to get these a little bit translucent, the zucchini. You could do them raw, but I think they'll taste better warmed up also. And then to melt the cheese. So you're definitely going to need some source of heat. If you had a George Foreman grill, you could even try that, or a griddle. Otherwise, the oven works just fine. On a cooler day, maybe this will be your go-to recipe on a rainy day. And the thickness of these, they're not super thin. They're probably a 1/4 inch thick. Oops, if you can see that. You can make them thicker if you'd like, but this will decrease the cooking time if they're a little bit thinner. So now we're going to take a baking sheet. You can't see it right now, so I'll move it over here. So I'm just gonna spray this with oil first, just because you don't want your zucchini to stick. It looks like I'm on the last leg here with this oil. And then we're just gonna lay these all down. And they can be as close as you need. They're not going to expand like cookies do or any baked goods. So go ahead and line them up. You'll probably end up filling the whole pan with 2 zucchini, and that's a-okay. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to put some olive oil on top as well. So you can either drizzle the olive oil and just toss it, but I generally just spray with oil from a can because I find that's really easy and you don't end up needing to toss it at all. And then if you would like to add salt and pepper, now's your time. Just to sprinkle those on top. I think I'm going to add a little bit of pepper and forego the salt. So you can just sprinkle that right on top. And voila. So now here's what we have. We have our my garbage can just went crazy. We have our zucchini discs all lined up, oiled, salted, and peppered, if you would like salt and pepper. And then we have our kale and onion mixture cooked down. I have my cheese, which I have not done anything with yet. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spoon the kale and onion mixture on top of some of these zucchinis. And this doesn't have to be super pretty. It will be kind of messy, and that's okay. Especially if your pieces of kale are kind of big. And so you're gonna spoon this onto as many as it will fit. Probably will end up being about half of your zucchini, because the other half we're gonna put the cheese curds on. And so then when we melt them, we're gonna put it together, and it's gonna make kind of that little zucchini stacker / sandwich that is our end goal. So pretty much I'm putting the kale and onion mixture, you can't see my face, I'm putting the kale and onion mixture on the larger zucchinis because they'll just stay on there better. And then the smaller ones I'm gonna put the cheese curds on. And if you wanted to get really precise, you could go ahead and count out half of your zucchini, but to put this mixture on and have to put the cheese on. But if we have a little bit of overlap, that's okay too. The more the merrier. Okay. So my mixture of kale and onion is all gone now. So I'm just gonna take these garlic dill cheese curds and place them on the zucchini without any other, without the kale and onion mixture on it. And so these will melt right on top here. And if you have pieces that are too big, you can always cut the cheese curd in half, which might not be a bad idea for some of these littler zucchini pieces. But I definitely encourage you to try and taste this cheese on its own before you put it in the oven, because it is killer. It tastes so good. And then you might find other recipes that you like that you could use these in. Okay, so now every piece of zucchini, except this one, he was hiding on me, has either cheese or kale and onion on it. So now I'm gonna put it in the oven, cook it for probably about 20 minutes until the zucchini starts to get soft and the cheese is melty. Oh, I could go like this. Ta-da! If I move my hand, there you go. We'll see how that looks. So it's been 15 minutes and they look good. So I'm gonna modify what I said earlier at 20 minutes, and I'm gonna say 15 minutes. And I'm kinda gonna show you a little bit here. I'll show you a more close up when we put the whole thing together. But the cheese is melted, it's starting to get golden, and then I can easily put a fork through the zucchini so I know it's done. So the final step to put this all together is we're gonna take a zucchini with the onion and kale on it, put that down first, and then we're gonna take a zucchini with the cheese curd on it and put that on top. So you could either serve it just with one layer, or you could keep going and make it kind of like a lasagna. And so if you just keep stacking, I'm gonna move the camera here to kind of show you guys. That's what it looks like. Very cool. And then this is what the baking sheet looks like. So I'm just gonna keep stacking like that. You probably don't wanna go more than 4 high because it'll topple over. And then that'll be your zucchini stackers. So if you're interested in learning how you can get these ingredients fresh from local farms, visit countrysidefoodandfarms.org. Thank you for watching.